Get it. Boom, baby. Boom. Rise and shine. It's your morning motivation time. I'm your host with the Moses Mark Saint. This is Saint's Addiction. This is the honesty of a human being. And this morning, you're having a conversation with the narcissist. I had talked with one of these people, one of our faceless porn models, and she had told me, "Oh yeah, I was supposed to call you back, but I've been going through it. I really like this girl. Like I feel a connection to her." So I opened up to her about my narcissism, and my real question to her was, "What do you get out of it by dating a narcissist?" Right? Now, me as an individual, it took me a long time to know about narcissism. I got diagnosed with narcissistic tendencies when I was 19. I was seeing a psychologist. I always suffered from depression and suicidal thoughts. It's always been that way. There's nothing you can do about it. It's what it is. Hentai, check it out. It's so cool. But that's the truth of it. And to live in my truth, Saint's Addiction, I had to keep it real about not only my positive stuff, which is easy for a narcissist to do. It's like, I feed the homeless, I created Saints Giving, I'm a nice person. And then the other shoe drops. The other shoe of me being violent, me being angry, aggressive, me being unempathetic, right? Not exactly just raising to the situation, but minus the empathy, because there wasn't a lot of empathy shown to me when I was a kid. So this comes from my family, which is another embarrassment when you have parents that never apologize, two Scorpios. They get whatever the fuck they want, and they don't care who they gotta hurt to get it. And in that, I also inherited this issue. I inherited this feeling of superiority, best of the best, head of the rest. That's what we had t-shirts made up, and that's the reason I'm even in t-shirt the game right now, is this feeling of, as long as you try hard, you deserve better. And in that makes you feel a little bit better than others, right? Like you get this superiority complex that most people don't want to talk about. They don't want to sit there and admit that, by them putting in the work and going to the gym, that it starts giving them a narcissistic tick. It starts to give us this feeling that we are superior than other fellow human beings. Now, granted, you are putting in more work. I always hid behind my work and my accomplishments in the feeling of feeling better than other humans. Now, not a lot of people are going to admit that. I was once watching an interview, and the guy's like, "I just feel like I'm better than you." Like, he just straight said it. Like, he didn't even hide behind it or pretend that he was a little less narcissistic. Narcissism, Narcissus, the actual Greek god, was in all of us. Especially now with social media and Instagrams and constant validation, you will measure up yourself in the mirror. It was something I read this morning too. What's not working? What about us is fat? We got to improve that. And in that, same thing with me combing my hair over this morning, make sure I had my cool glasses, make sure I was wearing my own hoodie. My ego steps in. It's not gonna let me walk around with crazy hair. My personality won't allow me to look disheveled, right? I'm gonna have to match a little bit with the black socks and the black and white, and that's my logo. That's me. I'm black and white, and everything's black and white in my world. But the ego's a very trippy realm where it's gonna convince you to believe that it's true. They said that's where the devil lives, is because my morning burps. That's what we can't live without. They say that the devil's biggest trick that they played is to not believe that the devil even exists. And the truth is, that most of these saints, we got halos and horns. When you're living godly, or if not even that, this saint and sinner balance that we all have inside of us is really what I was coming up with mostly saints, was to talk about this ultimate balance of our lives. I talked about it yesterday when they would measure your organs in Greek mythology. The When you died, I mean, obviously there was the river Styx, and you have to pay the gold coins off your eyes to cross it and get past all the unsettled souls to make it to this afterlife. And they would put beer and cannabis and all sorts of fun shit. Even if you're you're going all the way to the terracotta warriors, you kill the whole army with you. You're bringing these things with you, right, into your life. You're saying that in the afterlife, I want this to come with me. I want this kind of satisfaction. These are the things that I wanted to bring. Sometimes it was their wives, their horses, and their cats. But when you're out there and you're weighing your heart and it says, are you good or not? That's a huge decision. That's something that's literally inside of us all, that we know how, or maybe we don't know. Maybe our ego lies to us and tells us you're a good person, and you might not know it because everyone you affected is only the people that you love. And that was something, as a recovering narcissist, was tough for me. It was like, I love these people. These are my family. These are my loved ones. And I'm showing my ass off. Here's my guy. Always working, bro. He's always working. Maybe I should hold the tree for him. What do you think? Should we hold it for him? You got it? Got it? You got it? You okay? Yeah. I got you. Got you, bro. My guy, he works on everything in the whole thing. I just didn't want him to fall. The thing that we do the most and say, oh yeah, I'm reproach. I'm an awesome person. There's nothing that I do wrong. I'm a full-on 10. And the people that start doing that have narcissism. We block out all the things that make us look bad, right? Keep my beard, maintaining my image. And that's something going around social media all the time, is to and they've been doing this since the dawn. Napoleon was controlled, right? Oh, we already won the war, straight on top of this horse. Make sure you make me into a legend. And we all kind of know we're gonna die, so we all kind of want to say, hey, I look good right now. Look at me in my bikini. I'm sexy. I'm youthful. I have a power in me. And we look for power. Everybody wants to feel powerful because nobody wants to feel vulnerable, right? Nobody wants to live in a light that's not so shiny, right? You don't need, and is what we call it, or to say, like, I'm robbing this place and my ass is hanging out on the one side and I'm in the gold on the other, is a lot like narcissism. It's a lot of the gold that you think you got your hands on, but everybody sees your ass hanging out on the other side. That's what it's like for narcissism. It's a lot of grabbing onto only the things that are shiny. The old monkey trap, putting your fist in there. You see something shiny, they just put it in a hole. It could be a piece of fucking can, a little aluminum shiny, and they think it's it. Now you're stuck. The things you can't let go literally are trapping you. And that's something that was like an eye-opening experience. Was, sure, I'm concerned about me, the way I look, all my hard work, the way the message is sent back from the front line, just like Napoleon. It's the 17th century, so it's going to take a minute, but he would send people back and say, hey, we won. What did I watch last night? Oh, we took California. When we were battling for California with Mexico, and they were rightfully so. They're like, this is all our territory. We're here to fight. And then we got these other people that believe in manifest destiny, and they think that they're right. And they had rights to California. They had rights to all this gold in the river. They had rights to the sea, and that it was manifest destiny for us to just go past any Indian, any native, and just take land, fight for it, cause fights, start up fights, make an issue so there was something that we could fight for, like the Alamo. And they're like, remember the Alamo? We weren't supposed to be in the Alamo. Like, we were on someone else's property, yet we acted indignant, narcissistic, and saying, hey, I need this, this is mine now. And a lot of us do that. We'll get inside our narcissistic tendencies and we'll say, I deserve. I hear it a lot when I'm listening to a lot of the Fresh and Fits and all the other shows that I listen to. I deserve a 10. I'm a 10. I deserve a 6'6" man with a bigger than 6-inch dick and more than six figures in income. I deserve. Now, no one's talking about earn. No one's talking about the work it takes to get there. They just want it. They want a bigger butt. Let me go get a Brazilian butt lift. I've already breastfed my children. Let me go get breast implants. I want something, I want to look better so I can feel better. And that was something that was shocking to me, because we were talking about loyalty, and women are only loyal to their feelings. Their feelings tell them to buy that purse and they deserve that purse. Boom, there goes $600, bro. Or 6,000 sometimes, whatever they are, Birkin bags, I don't know, 60,000. And in my world, or in our world, in our minds, this world that we live in, we're constantly flooding ourselves with stimulus and rewards and situations that we believe we're entitled to. And that's something that becomes part of narcissism, is entitlement. I felt that I deserved to have that baby. I felt that because we had the children, it didn't matter how I treated the mother. It's my baby. I can do what I want. Power and control. And as I shared the power and control wheel with her, there are a lot of ways that we all manipulate each other so we can have power and control. It might be something as far as like finances, or it could be something like children. It could be like, oh, I'm not going to let him see his kids. Now I have the power. And you'll feel powerful. This is the tough part about narcissism, is that you'll get a buzz. And I was going to have a deeper conversation with her about this, but anger gives you a sense of power. It makes you feel powerful, and therefore it doesn't matter who you hurt or how you're saying things, as long as you get the buzz. And that's something that we do. We don't care what hurts us later, as long as we get the feeling now. And that's the tough part about just going all in with just feelings, because our feelings change. And that means your loyalty changes. Us as men, loyalty's loyalty. You said, we had an agreement, we shook hands. There was an acknowledgement at that point. Regardless of how things change, we made a pact. And the reason why we say these hoes ain't loyal is because they don't live by a pact. They live by emotions. And when you live by emotions, you're constantly a sway of whatever makes you feel a certain way. And that's what something that really took my whole life around was, I was like, at any moment, people are like, I need to feel this way. It doesn't make me feel excited anymore, so therefore I don't do it. And if there isn't any excitement to it, it'll never get done. And that's something that most of us get into with ourselves, is we forget to place ourselves outside of our feelings. We forget to that we can person. So if I feel passionate about something, I'll get all fired up. How many times have people done some crazy shit feeling righteous? I think of the Spanish Inquisition. I think of all the fucking times people have murdered somebody else and done something. That's what ends up happening. We end up getting into our way and saying, well, you're a criminal. There's no quarter for pirates. It used to be one of those things where they would hang the pirates outside of like the Tower of London to scare the other people, letting you know that if you step line, this is your ass. This is what's going to happen to you when you disagree with the Queen's rule of law. And a lot of people are like, I don't mind watching a hanging, a lynching, something else if I felt that that person deserved it. And you see how ferocious we can be. Narcissists can be very violent when we feel entitled, right? Like, well, he's a murderer, so he doesn't have any rights any more than us. And that's what came down to the Batman movie, was there was going to blow up all the regular citizens, had the button to blow up the criminals. And the criminals had the button to blow up the innocent. And neither wanted to press the button. You could save yourself and just press the button, then I'll be safe. And that's what ends up happening with narcissism. As long as I'm safe, as long as I'm okay, everything's going to be okay. And what ends up happening is we miss the empathy for the other person. It's not okay. It's not okay. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's not okay to become a murderer too. So I can be abusive to my ex, and she can feel unsafe. That doesn't make it okay for her. There we go. And the actions you take because of how you feel. If I felt I just wanted to sleep winning it, then I'd be a rapist. Do you get it? But I felt that I wanted to have sex. Doesn't entitle you to take someone else's body and freedom. It doesn't entitle you to become a murderer because someone else murdered something. Now, we as Americans, we love to have our own property because we can say that it was our right. We felt a certain type of way. We felt, breaking and entering or something. It's like, as long as you're on my property, this is my property. I can do what I want on my property. Do you really want to have murder in your house? Broke into your house? Do you really want to go into that 5-10 years later for the next 5 years, 15 years, how killed someone in your house? Well, that one time, man, it had me all fired up, and you're just like, I would rather point the gun at the person and say, you're making a bad move. I've already called the cops. I need you to leave. Versus, wow, I splattered your brains all over the kitchen. Now I got to go get it cleaned up. And I got my stimulus. And that's all we're doing. We're chasing stimulus. And it's crazy because as long as you're a rat in a cage, you're going to press the lever and you're going to be stuck on just pressing the lever. And that's something that everybody kind of has to go through. I don't know what the fuck this dude's doing. Are we stuck on these rewards and this feeling of feeling superior and feeling powerful, knowing damn well that doesn't last forever? It's like a hard dick, bro. Sure, you're powerful and it's ready to come and I'm ready to fucking inject, but it's also gonna get limp as soon as I'm done busting my nut. There goes the noodle. And it's just like that. It's like, sure, I'm rock hard right now. 5-10 minutes later, not so much. And that's something that goes with power. It's like, you can't always stay angry. You can't always stay powerful. You're going to have vulnerable moments. And most narcissists are going to try to hide those vulnerable moments. We get extra lonely. We'll hide ourselves. We'll disassociate with people. Narcissism will pretend that the other person's the aggressor or they did something wrong. It's so easy to see. I was watching the movie American Hustle, if you ever get a chance. And what was really interesting about that movie was the fact that that's how she did it. She kept spinning it on this dude. This dude gets trapped by the mob and he's fucking his wife and they put a bag over his head. You almost got me fucking killed running your mouth. And she was like, see, I'm glad it worked out that way. Now you have clarity. You're welcome. And it was just like, bitch, you almost got me killed by the mob. They put something over my head. Like they were going to fucking bury me and put me in pieces and shit. And she spun it that he was the aggressor, that he was the fuck up and he owed her a thank you. And the narcissism's real. The only way she knew how to flip it was flip it to him. And it's happened to me with my family. I've had it so many times where my parents have been dead to rights wrong. I still can't get an apology or an I'm sorry. The hell would have to freeze over for them to really feel empathy, for them to have to feel the mistake. That's what ends up happening. And that's when I knew I wasn't as big of a narcissist as I thought I was. Everyone's narcissistic. We all care the way that we look, the message that we say with what we wear, how we come into the world. We put on that mask and say, this is the mask I need to compete into the world today. But we also put a lot of energy into our look, a lot of energy into the clothes that we wear, how much money. I mean, fucking people are spending 10 grand on shoes and crying about it. That's what ends up happening. We end up going into this world and placating ourselves. As long as our Instagram face page looks okay, we're okay. And that's not what ends up happening. We're not okay. You can see how lonely you look when you're flipping off the camera on Valentine's Day. That looks lonely. When you throw out the thirst trap and you're in your underwear and thong, talking about I got 3 spots left for Valentine's Day. You only need 1 spot, but all of us, we need thousands of followers. We need to have people to follow us. I got nobody watching right now. I do this show consistently without nobody watching on a regular basis. Not that I'm not narcissistic. It's just that I was more concerned about the message. I'm not doing porn, so I don't have that big of a following. I might be interviewing porn stars so I can get more of a following. But that's what ends up happening is we want to compete. Narcissism has you to believe that you're best. And to be the best, that means you have to beat the best. And that's what ends up happening, especially now with the pound-for-pound champ. Volkanovski beat the shit out of Makachev. And he's acting like he's the pound-for-pound champ. Now they're sharing the spot for the first time. They're two per pound fighters, that's what ends up happening is everybody wants to be the top fucking dog. We talk about Mike Tyson, such a curious creature, that intelligent, hardworking, and all those things combined, but he had a ego bigger than God. And that's what sometimes we end up thinking, that we are like a god, or we are a god. I am a god, said Kanye West. And then you get into a level of hubris. That's right, hubris before the fallen, of I can't be touched, Andrew Tate, talking all that shit, going like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I'm sure you will, bro. And guess what? The Romanian government just grabbed your ass, and now everybody sees your receding hairline. Your ego of not wanting to show that you're going bald is now apparent because you spent 43 days in a holding cell. I know what it's like, bro, not having a shave, not having a shower, wearing the same clothes. Jail will got you looking all sorts of fucked up. Jail will get you taking the inconvenience of the truth and showing how everybody's a human. Now you're all in the slop. Now you all got to eat the slop. You don't get to be special. You don't get to have anything different than anyone else. You're getting the same food as the junkie, as the guy that had a DUI. Everybody's equal in there. And that's what ends up shaking our foundations, because we get used to having benefits. We have used to having preferential treatment. They always talk about what's it called? Not white supremacy. What's it called? White privilege. And it's not just that. Other people take the piss, man. Then we take this privilege as an entity, like it belongs to us, a dignity, like I'm a king. How dare you talk back to me? Find out when you're Tsar Nicholas and all your family is getting killed, the whole Romanov dynasty getting killed in the bottom of a basement, murdering children. There goes your ego. Same being in jail. There goes your ego. Same with any other time that we pretend that we're above someone else, it's going to rear its ugly head. Now, me, as a narcissist, I always use it as the defense. I'm like, but I'm putting in on so much work, and I'm always concentrated. I'm doing this show. I'm feeding the homeless, da-da-da-da-da. Doesn't mean I'm beyond reproach. Doesn't mean that I can't be reached. Everybody's flushed. We're still all human. All seeing love. It's not just one human. It's all humans. And that's what we have to take account of, is that you're narcissistic too. That's right. Anybody has a life, has an image of themselves, ego, and edging God out, saying that I'm above it all. This is my self-protection mechanism, and I'm going to hold on to this. And we'll do that anytime that we can, just because that's the competition. There's way too many people there. I'm going to go this other direction. Think about it. Hear me now, feel me now. Think about the times where you felt righteous. You felt that you were entitled to make a certain decision. Your mouth, or your foot, your mouth, and said some things that you didn't mean, and said some things mean and didn't mean what you said. That we get inside of our bubble, this myopic world, where only us are listening, where only us are doing the damage, and that's self-destruction. Has to be said for us to make decisions that end up harming us. Like, you're like, what are you talking about? Saying, what about addictions? Like, yeah, dude, all these habits, all these patterns end up coming to who we are. That's our lives. And the decisions that we're making, that's what we're talking about. The quality of our character. What did Martin Luther King say? Something about our character. I don't remember, but yeah, the content of our character. That's what it really comes down to. When we look at people, we judge the external, we can see the whole river. But what we rarely see is the human being behind the scenes. What we rarely see is all the childhood trauma that these people have gone through, right? Their idiosyncrasies, the things that make them tick, their motivations, what makes them do what they do and why they do it. Now you're looking at a human being. Now you're looking at a soul, a person that is a person just like you, that's going to have truth and lies. You're going to have a mixture, and they're going to have a mixture of experiences too. I look at people sometimes and I think that I know them. So untrue. Dude, after going to the sex club or these sex parties all last summer, bro, I don't know anyone. I thought I was a great judge of character. I've traveled the world. I speak 10 languages. I'm working on them. But I don't know what someone's been through. I don't know. You could be a celloist. And I'm like, what? You're from Laos. So, doesn't mean I don't know how to play cello. Okay. Watching that movie last night, I was talking about it, American Hustle, and at the end, they don't expect a smart man like the Robert De Niro character at the end when he starts speaking actual Arabic to this man, an old Sanskrit fucking language, and this dude's a Mexican pretending to be an Arab. He's an undercover cop, and he's not who he says he is. If you were to actually speak, no, I want him to speak, Robert De Niro said. I don't need you to speak for him. I want him to speak back to me. And besides for Alinka Salam, or however they say it, you know, Malik Milano or Alinka Salam, or however you say it. I don't know. I don't speak it. But, I mean, I forget the words, but I've said them before. But, you know, that in himself caught the dude out of it. And who would have thought an old Italian dude knew how to speak Arabic? You don't know someone's life. You don't know what they've been through. You can try to check and tell from the outside all you want, but that inside, though, that content of character will shine. And so who you are, shout so loudly, I cannot even hear you. So while our ego's trying to shout and bluster and act powerful, what we are doing, our actions, our character is really shouting louder than all of that. We're seeing our loved ones not trust us. We're seeing people think us as two-faced. And we're also experiencing loneliness because people aren't going to want to be around people that aren't the same responsive rate. Not hard from the start. It's your boy Marky Saints Addiction. I'm addicted to this, y'all. I had to overcome a bunch of addictions to get to this level. And if you got anything out of this, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe below. You already know. Peace and love. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever in Finland. Finnish. And I will see you on the other side of your narcissism, of our perspective, and hopefully commenting below, because it's going to take all of us to get past this for sure. Peace. I'll see you on this side. Ciao.